"What's going on?" demanded Beverly, pushing past Charles and hurrying over to help Tom. "Has he had some sort of seizure?" "No, I don't think so. I think he's been strangled. Look." Tom pointed at the line around the bursar's neck. "Don't be daft. Who would want to garrote Anthony?" "No, don't answer that. I can think of plenty of people who might have wanted to, but nobody who would have actually done it." Between them, Beverly and Tom managed to settle the body back on the chair. Tom closed the staring eyes, and then wondered whether he ought not to have done. Weren't you supposed to touch nothing at the scene of a crime? They were still standing there, wondering what to do next, when the door opened again, and the rest of the party entered. Featherstone Granger, the master of Lichfield College, strode into the room, and then stopped abruptly when he saw the limp body of the bursar slumped awkwardly in his chair, with Tom and Beverly standing over it. A cluster of people collected behind him as the others crowded into the room. "I found him like this when I came back from lunch," Tom explained. "It looks as if someone came at him from behind while he was loading his presentation and strangled him with something." "Are you sure?" the master demanded, coming closer and peering down at the bursar's neck. "Are you saying that Anthony's dead?" asked Anne Lambert, the dean, who had followed the master into the room together with the chaplain, Simon Sutcliffe. "That's awful," the master's secretary gasped, pushing her way through from the back of the crowd to see the body for herself. "Why would anyone want to do that?" "I could give you some suggestions," muttered Damien Ogden, the marketing officer. "It seems to me that we ought to call the police." The calm voice of Jeremy Weldon, the senior chemistry tutor, caught everyone's attention, and they all stood looking expectantly at him. "Quite right," agreed the master, recovering from his shock and taking charge. "I'll go to reception. You'd all better wait here, and don't touch anything," he added, turning to look at them as he opened the door. He went out, closing the door behind him. For a moment they all remained standing, looking at each other. Then Beverly resumed the seat that she had occupied during the morning session, and got out her iPad. Gradually the others all followed her lead and sat down around the large boardroom-style table. Tom took out his laptop and plugged it in, leaving a trailing cable lying dangerously across the floor, in clear breach of health and safety guidance. While it was booting up, he sat looking round at his companions. Graham Weldon, a large man in his 50s, with steely grey hair and dark brown eyes, sat impassively at the end of the table furthest from the screen, apparently unperturbed by the discovery of his colleague's body. Was that just his naturally calm disposition, or could he have been expecting it? Next to him sat the chaplain, looking suddenly very young and inexperienced, talking in a low voice to Anne, the dean. They both looked shocked and anxious. Tom remembered that Anthony had been living with Anne in her house in Jericho until only a few months previously. Was there any possibility that the break-up of their long-term relationship had anything to do with the bursar's sudden death? The chair on the other side of Anne was empty. The master had been sitting there, so next Tom's eye fell on young Jessica Stevens, the master's secretary. She seemed to have got over her initial shock at seeing the body, and now appeared more excited than distressed. She glanced round the room before picking up her pen and starting to make notes on an A4 pad, which she had brought for taking minutes of the meeting. Tom tried to see what she was writing. He strongly suspected that she was trying to work out which of her colleagues could have killed the bursar. Charles Brampton got up from his chair and paced round the room with his hands in his pockets. Tom had not met him until today, and was not sure what to make of him. He was a retired civil servant of indeterminate age, who, Tom presumed, had devoted himself to the Lichfield Society, as the College Alumni Association was called, as a way of filling the empty days, now that he had no full-time job to occupy him. On Tom's side of the table there were Damien Ogden, the college's marketing officer, a position of which Charles Brampton had been openly scathing during discussions that morning, and Plant Sciences fellow Beverly Greenhalgh. Tom liked Beverly's down-to-earth and practical approach to life. He watched her now, her head bowed so that the dark brown curls fell over her face, as she concentrated on reading a research paper on her iPad. She had evidently decided that, there being nothing further that she could do for their dead colleague at present, the sensible thing was to get on with her work.